Here we go. After waiting for the card for months, finally I got access to the newly launched Trade Republic card. And that's probably one of the most requested videos I got from you guys. A lot of people asked me, make a review on it and give your honest opinion. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in this video. Take you with me through the experience, how the card works, and of course in the end share with you what I think about it and whether I think it's a good card to get or if there are better alternatives. Without further ado, let's get started. So just a quick reminder, Trade Republic is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest broker in Europe. And they've been really expanding. If you want to get started investing, they really make it very simple and easy. You know, you only pay €1 per trade and yeah, you're good to go. I don't use Trade Republic myself with regards to investing. I do, however, use it to keep my cash because I'm getting 4% on my cash sitting there. So that's a real benefit that for me, Trade Republic offers at this stage. But of course, you clicked on the video to see more about the card. So the card just came out a little while ago. And obviously some of the headline features they're offering is, which is really unique, that you still get the 4% on your cash. So basically, while your cash is sitting there, you're still going to get the 4% interest per year paid out to you every single month. And one of the major features that they advertise so passionately is the 1% save back. Now, normally you talk about cash back, right? When you spend something, you get money back in the form of cashbacks, or other cards have points where you collect points or miles. So save back is the first time I hear that. Basically, I'll show you in a second how that works. But every time you spend something, you will get the same amount in cash back, but you don't actually get it paid out to you. But you can use that money to invest into certain stocks or ETFs. So that's the whole idea over here. And yeah, that's something really interesting. And lastly, a feeture they call roundup. So every time you spend something, let's say you buy yourself a coffee for €3.80, let's say, depending on the settings you have, they might round it up to €4, and those 20 cents will on your behalf immediately be invested. Again, interesting feature. While it sounds interesting, maybe there's a little catch to it. And a couple of more features. There's no monthly subscription fee, so that's always nice, right? Nobody wants to pay monthly subscription fees, so here it's completely free of charge. Only depending on the card that you're buying, you might pay a one-off, but they also have a virtual card, which I got, and you pay $0 for that. And for me, really a nice feature is that there's unlimited free ATM withdrawals over €100. And again, I'll get to this in a second. And there is no hidden fees on any foreign exchange fees, which is really nice. Now, I haven't tried it in practice. You know, so far I only transacted in euro, the currency that I also have in my account. So I can't verify that, how good the rates are, because of Revolut, the card I mostly use, I really get amazing rates. So that remains to be seen how that turns out. But the fact that they don't have a surcharge on the rate is really good. And of course, you know, best-in-class security. I guess that applies to many of the big banks and brokers out there using Visa or MasterCards. Right, let's hop over to the app. Obviously, that's how you're going to be using your card and where you're also going to activate it. So once you download the Trade Republic app, all you have to do is obviously open it up. And usually you're going to be greeted on the wealth screen, which is also a shame. You can't really set it up to go right away to the cash screen, whereas all your card transactions, because when I open my card app of choice, I want to see all the latest transactions. So that's one more step to do, unfortunately, but always you go to wealth and then you have to click into cash over here. And then here you see what is happening. Now, obviously the first time, if you don't have the card yet, you will see at the top right over here, card. So all you have to do, in this case, it will say choose a card. And obviously I already registered for my card, but you have 3 different options. I believe I can get that screen if I click on get physical card. So basically, yeah, that's what you will be seeing the first time. If you don't have a card yet, you can order the fancy mirror card, which is obviously a physical card, 20 grams of metal mirror card. And that's a €50 one-off that you will pay for it. But then, you know, the fees are exactly the same. The benefits exactly the same, just that they have a fancy metal card. But, you know, I always use my phone to pay. I don't like to carry cards with me. So for me, it's not relevant. There's also a cheaper one, the classic one, which is a plastic card at only €5. But, you know, if you haven't signed up yet, you will have a third option, which is the virtual card. Obviously, I already have it already, so it's not shown here, but that's free of charge. You just click the button, activate, and it's already done. So that's really cool and very easy. And yeah, you can see it over here. That's basically my virtual card. Now, if I double click to get Apple Pay up, I can just go ahead, select Trade Republic, and boom, you're good to go. So literally, as soon as you have money in your account and you activate it, you can start using your card. You don't have to wait for it to be shipped and so on. So really like that feature. You can obviously click to show your details, which, you know, if you don't mind, I'm not going to show you right now. You can freeze your card. So that's very simple as well. Just click the button and it will be frozen within a second. And yeah, that's really cool, but you can also unfreeze it. So in case you lost it, but obviously if you have a virtual card, probably not going to lose it, but still, you know, maybe you have the need for that. Then there's security and safety. Once again, not too much over here. You have a bit of a general, so you can click over here to get some more insights into the ATM withdrawals. As it says, ATM withdrawals are free of charge over €100. So if you withdraw, if you're abroad and you withdraw €90, they will charge you a €1 every time. But if you withdraw €110, they will not charge you anything. And obviously, as I say, some ATM machines, some dodgy ones, not official ones from the bank, they're still going to charge you some certain fee, but Trade Republic itself is not going to charge you, which is really nice, honestly. And that's probably, for me, I'll come to this in the end, but one of the biggest appeals, there aren't really too many cards. Even on my Revolut Ultra plan, after a certain limit, I am being charged a little bit of a withdrawal fee. Now, again, I hardly ever need cash. Wherever I travel, I can always pay with Apple Pay. It's not really relevant for me, but if you travel a lot, then this might be really a handy feature. Then, of course, in case you don't want to have cash withdrawals, you could enable or disable this over here, as well as online payments, enable or disable. But again, most likely you're going to be using your card for some kind of online payments. And lastly, you can terminate your card if you wish so. And then, of course, order a physical card and add it to Apple Pay. Or if you have Android, of course, I'm sure it can be easily added to Google Pay as well. So that's really all there is to it. And basically how it works, as soon as you deposit money into Trade Republic, it will show up under cash. So that's the amount that will start accumulating that sweet 4% interest we all like, right? That's amazing. I love it. And the cool thing is, whenever you use your card, it will actually go back to that balance you have sitting here. So while that money sits waiting to be spent by you, you will accumulate the 4% interest. So that's really unique feature, because a lot of other accounts, they separate these things, right? They have money for the card that sits separately and doesn't accumulate any money. And then you have the money in your savings vault, let's say. Same case, for example, with Revolut, right? But here it's all in one. So even if you don't spend it, you get money on it. So that's really nice. You always have your money working for you. And then as soon as you make a transaction, you can see here, recently I went to Starbucks, I made one transaction, you can click into it. For example, in Revolut, but over here, I can click into any of transaction and I can see right away the map where I spend it. I can download the transaction. I can see which card I used for it, how much cashback I got from it, which category I will assign it to. I can even add the receipt. I can add a note if I wanted to, and get help in case there was something wrong with the payment. And I could contact Revolut to maybe get reimbursed if the charge wasn't done by me. So yeah, all these things, you don't really have it right now. It feels super simple. I mean, you do have report an issue, but we all know the Trade Republic service sadly is not really the fastest. So yeah, I wouldn't count on that. And overall, yeah, it's a little bit simple. I don't even know where the transaction happened and under which category. Now, when you go back into here, you do see some kind of analytics, but once again, they're extremely simple. But I'll come to this in a second. If I go back to transactions, you can see it's a little bit messy, right? Here I have all my various transactions. If I get a dividend, if I get a referral bonus for any of you using my link to sign up, which I always appreciate. And if you haven't signed up to Trade Republic yet, if you use my link down in the description below, both you and I will benefit from it. So win-win scenario. But as I said, it's a little bit overwhelming because it all mixes with the various things. You know, I'm so used to having a card that only shows me my card transaction. And here it's all clustered in with a bit of income, which I get from my interest and dividends potentially, then investing, then spending. And yeah, it's a little bit cluttered, right? If I use that more and more, it would be all over the show, to be honest. And even right now, I can't really filter by certain transaction types. So for me, it's really a little bit messy, I must say. If I go into spending over here to get some more insights, I could see here the various spendings I had. In this case, it classified Starbucks under bars and restaurants, so it got it right. But there's no way for me to change the category because often, you know, some categories, they will be different, right? If I go to a petrol station but buy something that I eat, then it's not transportation, but it would be food, right? In this case, obviously the app doesn't always know what a specific use case is, but in this case, there's no way for me to change it. So the analytical part, I really don't like it at all. And once again, if I go back to Revolut, I just click on analytics over here and I can see all the various receipts much better classified. I can see money in, money out. I go into any of those. If I want to change it over here, I just go in and then change the category and boom, and it will go into a different category. I can say exclude from analytics. Maybe it's an expense that wasn't really my expense because I got reimbursed right away. I don't want to see it showing up under my expenses, right? So I can exclude it from my monthly expenses. So yeah, just way better user experience. Now, obviously the highlight of the card is further down when I see over here. So the interest that you keep on getting while you keep your money sitting over there. So that's nice. And you can see for all the period I had, already I collected 1,350 euros over the entirety of the time that I had my money sitting here. So that's really nice, right? And I really enjoyed it and I'll keep doing that. But you'll get it regardless of whether you use the card or not. So you don't need a card in order to get the interest. Then we come to the save back. 1% save back on every single transaction. Sounds really great, right? But there are a few catches to it. Now, the 1% save back only applies to certain transactions. For example, if you pay your rent or you make a transfer, this will not apply, which again is understandable, right? I mean, most card providers make an exclusion for that. So I understand that. The second part that you need to keep in mind, it can only go ever as high as 15 euros per month. So even you spend 10,000 euros, you should be getting 100 euros in save back. It will not happen. It will cap at 15 euros. So it doesn't matter. You can only ever reach 15 euros in save back per month. And well, you know, it is nice. It's better than nothing, right? Don't get me wrong. But 15 euros, I mean, that's 2 or 3 Starbucks, right? For me, that really doesn't make a difference in the long term of things in my investing journey. It's still, like I said, don't get me wrong, it's better than nothing. But again, is that really going to change your investing future? Probably not. And not only can you then decide what you want to be doing with your money, but you have to invest it into any of those stocks or ETFs that they provide you. Coming back to the website where they explain more about the safe bag, basically, as it shows over here, in order to get the 1% invested on your behalf, obviously it only is available up to 1,500 euros in order to get the 15 euro safe bag. So in order to qualify for that, you actually need to invest at least 50 euros monthly in their saving plans. So if you're not planning to invest 50 euros every month, which if you have an automated buying plan, which is a great thing to have, in this case, there won't be any commissions on it. So basically it means, you pick a ETF or stock that you want to buy and invest every single month. You need to have one of them at least set up with 50 euros or more per month. If you have less, that safe bag basically wouldn't be benefiting you and it wouldn't be invested on your behalf. So you need to have that already in place in order to benefit from the additional 15 euros in case you get there. If you spend only 500 euros, it would only be an additional 5 euros that they invest on your behalf. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. And the last feature is the roundup feature on payments, which once again is quite interesting. So basically how it works, you can choose the spare change multiplier. If you buy a coffee that costs you 3.90 euros, and then you can have a multiplier. So in case it's 10 cents and you choose the 10x multiplier, it would be 1 euro, right? So it's up to you how high you want to multiply. If it's a one-time multiplier, it's basically the spare change, and you can choose from a couple of stocks over here, or you can also have something new. Just go ahead, select, let's say you want to buy Nvidia from it, select, go ahead. It just shows you what is going to be bought. Nvidia, 1x multiplier and investment weekly. While it is a very nice feature to kind of passively invest, honestly, ultimately, it's still your money, right? It's not something that they're going to give you as a bonus. It's going to come out of your pocket. So left pocket, right pocket. In the end, they just kind of make it more automated and passive. But I actually, and I think every serious investor should be in control of their investments, not leave it to chance, because otherwise I feel people might be tempted to justify more spending on random things because they feel, well, if I spend, I also invest at the same time, right? Let's buy this expensive laptop because by doing it, I will invest some spare cash into my future portfolio, right? That's not how it works. Actually, that's deceiving. And I don't really like that. To be honest, I think you want to be in charge and understand what you're investing in, how much you invest in on a monthly basis, not let it be dictated by your spendings. And yeah, honestly, there isn't really much more to it. As I said, super simplistic. I really think they need to upgrade, especially the analytics. Right now, it's very simplistic. So what are my thoughts on the card? Well, if you watched the video until now, then obviously you figured out that while I am a big fan of Trade Republic overall as a platform, I think they make it very easy for people to get invested. I love the 4% on the interest. I really benefited from myself. As you can see, I got a lot of interest from them, so I really love it for it. The card itself, while it is a great new feature to get more people into the system, I think a lot of people will get excited about the 1% safe back. Sounds exciting. If you're already with Trade Republic, then definitely it's a no-brainer. Get the virtual card, there's no monthly fee for it. And I think the biggest feature for me is actually the free ATM withdrawal. So even for that, I might just use it if I go internationally somewhere and I need to withdraw a bigger amount than 100 euros. I will definitely use my Trade Republic card because already my money is sitting there. And while it's sitting there, it's accumulating 4% interest for me. So that's great. And then I can withdraw cash free of charge without any foreign exchange fees on top of it. So I think that's, for me, actually the biggest point about the card. As for the other features, such as Roundup, I really don't believe it's a good thing. I want to be in charge of my own money and invest it where I see fit, a fixed amount every single month, and not leave it up to chance depending on my spending. The safe bag, as I also mentioned before, for me, it's a nice gimmick. But honestly, the fact that it's kept at 15 euros, for me, is just not appealing. You can see, for example, with my Revolut Ultra card, the last few months, in total, I already got 785 euros in cash back. In March and February, both around 100 euros in cash back. So that's much better. I get the money in real cash that I can then spend on other things or decide to reinvest it. That's another plus point I like so much more about, to be in control of my own money, right? Because if I don't want to invest that safe back on Trade Republic, but I want to go with another broker, I want to be flexible with that and not going to be forced into their system just because I have to spend it there and already have to have set up a monthly recurring plan. So again, if you're using these features already, why not, right? It's a nice cherry on top. But if you're just opening an account and a card for that, I don't really think is the best option. Another point I really don't like about the card overall is the experience, the analytics, because it's really very cluttered, because I don't really easily see where a transaction took place. I cannot reallocate the category. So I think they still have to do a lot of improvements going forward. And lastly, one of the points I heard a lot of users saying and complaining actually, that you can't set a spending limit, right? Right now, as you can see, I have a significant amount of money sitting in my account there. And if the card, for whatever reason, got hijacked or somebody got into details, I don't know if they will be able to withdraw all the amount. There's no spending limit right now, as far as I'm aware. So they might withdraw all that money in one go, in one big transaction, right? And there's no way for me to control that. So the fact that it uses the same accounts, while it's nice that it accumulates money, at the same time, I do like a segregation of amounts. Right now on my Revolut card, I have most of my money sitting in my savings vault, accumulating 3.92% interest, which is pretty similar to Trade Republic. And if I need it on my card, literally with one tap of a button, in a matter of seconds, it goes from my savings vault to my card and then I can spend it. So I'm not really losing out on lower interest. So I think it's nice to have the segregation of accounts, separate cards. And then when I go in, I have all the analytics only for my card spendings and I have all my analytics for my investment part. So I like the differentiation. I think they should do a better job with that. So what I'm going to be doing going forward, as I said, I will definitely keep my Trade Republic card because there's no fees for it. And when I go internationally and have to make a large ATM withdrawal, I use it only for that. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I won't be using it. I will continue using my Revolut Ultra card. And while it does have a monthly subscription fee to it, obviously I get a lot of partner benefits, as you can see over here, which I also really make advantage of, except for Tinder. My wife said not to take advantage of that. Obviously, you can see here a lot of the benefits. I can still withdraw up to 2,000 euros fee-free, right? And honestly, I don't ever remember withdrawing that much money anyway. So for me, it really doesn't make a big difference. And yes, even the fact that I can use my card to have airport lounge access, for me, is really attractive, right? Which I obviously don't get any of those benefits with my Trade Republic card. So don't get me wrong. I think it's great that Trade Republic keeps on innovating and tries to be a one-stop solution for everything. In a way, in the future, I can see them competing more and more with Revolut, right? I think that will happen. So it's nice that they started adding new features. So that's really cool. And I like, obviously, that you're going to be in safe hands with a trusted licensed bank in Germany. So that's really good. Right now, it just feels like a little bit of a rushed product that is not really completed yet. Hopefully, once they iterate and continue working on it, it will get better and I'll make a future update video on that. Right now, for me, it's just not appealing enough. I'll continue using my Revolut card instead. But I'm excited to hear from you. What do you think about the card? Is it appealing to you or not really? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll get back to every single one of you. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, if you made it until the end of the video, I really appreciate you. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.